Alright, so here we're going to have a review of the BQEYZ Wind. This is a single dynamic driver, single bone conduction driver IEM. Retails for around $240, so let's get into this. Alright, so we can take off the sleeve here. It says BQEYZ, best quality earphone for you. We'll talk about why that's not the case in a second. Let's take this sleeve off here. Take out the IEMs. Take out the foam insert. And take out the case. And take out, let's take out the box too right now for now. Let's get this box out of the way so we can have a bit more space on the table here. Alright, so opening up the accessories pack. Oh, actually, no, let's open up the case first. So, opening up the case, we have the foam ear tips. We have a cable. And we have the other tips. I have these tips on to the side for when we compare different tip sounds. Put this to the side. Alright, and we have the accessories box here with bag of different yellow core tips. It really feels like they were just hiding this thing, and I think I know why. It feels like they were forced to put this in there, to be honest. And I think some paperwork, quality assurance card, and yeah, stuff you don't really care about. Alright, let's put that away. Okay, so credit where credit is due. BQEYZ knows build quality well. I think every single IEM I've gotten from them, except maybe this summer, has had excellent build quality. Like, really nice. I forgot to mention, these are like a semi-open back IEM design, which isn't something I see very often. Open back IEMs are kind of a rarity. But yeah, so if you're into open back, I mean, but from my testing, they do let noise in, but they don't leak too much. They leak a little bit. But it's not exactly like it when you wear open back headphones where like you can hear everything coming in and all the sound is going out everywhere. It's not like that, but you're gonna have a little bit of sound leakage, and you are gonna be able to hear the outside around you a bit better than a fully closed set. I wouldn't wear this in a library, but I'd be fine walking outside with them on. So yeah, let's put the not gonna put the IMs away. Put this away, I meant. And cable is also really good. I think almost every cable I've gotten from BQEYZ IEMs has been good. I really like their cables, actually. I even use the Autumn cable with a lot of my other IEMs, and I bought an extra one. So, really, again, credit where credit is due. Their cables are really nice. I really like their cables. Alright, now on to comfort real quick. They're comfortable. I mean, no issues. They're pretty small. I had no issues with comfort. Now on to what you care about. Sound. Well, how can I say this? They have a lot of different tips, so we'll talk about the different sound of each tip, but almost none of them is good. And also there's a cable tie that comes in the box. I forgot to put back. Alright, let's do it in this order, I guess. Well, I'll figure it out as I go along. So, the main issue with these is there is no dynamic range on almost any tip. These two tips sound a bit more normal. These sound downright horrendous. Honestly, I don't even know why they included these tips. This can't sound good to anyone. This is horrid. I had a visceral facial reaction when I listened to this set of tips in particular. I didn't know they had these tips until I saw pictures online of the unboxing. And then I dug through that accessories box and I found this in the back. And I wish I didn't. This sounded really bad, like really bad. Like, this is like one of the worst things I've ever heard on any IEM ever on this. So just everything's bad about this. Don't use it. Don't use it. The bass is improved actually over the other tips. I will say the bass sounded normal, but you get the mid-range, just like the lower mid-range goes away. The upper highs loses all dynamic range, all detail. Everything is just awful with these tips. So just don't consider the yellow tips. We're not even going to talk about that in the comparison. Alright, now moving on to these three tips. Spin fits, which are not included, but I use spin fits a lot in my reviews. These atmosphere tips and these reference tips, I believe. It's one of the two. Let me check which one is which. I honestly, I can't even tell by sound because... Okay, this is the atmosphere tips, the black ones, and the gray ones are the reference. Anyway, so bass let's talk about the bass on the black tips. Actually, let's talk about the bass on the gray tips. The gray tips bass it's a very weak hit, very poor dynamic range, and also highly recessed. Just overall terrible bass presence and bass quality on the gray tips. It does get a little bit better on the black tips. You get a little bit of more full bass, a little bit better hit, a little bit more in the track, but still poor quality overall, no texture. And then going on to spin fits, it gets a little bit better into like where it's a kind of normal sounding bass for something that would have been maybe $100. But at 240, nothing even close to being good. Going on to the mid range. Now this is the worst part of the set. Not the bass is the worst part. The mid-range is the worst part of the set. The lower mid-range in particular. Upper mid-range is not terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible. You got good presence in the upper female vocals. And overall, the upper mid-range is fine. Instruments are fine. Not great, though. Poor dynamic range in the upper mid-range. Lower mid-range, it's really, really, really bad. Like, it's very thin. Highly recessed lower mid-range. It sounds so weird that... there's such a difference in the mid-range. I hate it. It sounds unbalanced and overall just inaccurate and weird. Just suddenly you'll be listening to a track and then over a lower tone vocalist will start talking and just sounds like they're like in the far depths in an abyss. And then the other sounds sound actually more present and forward. It doesn't sound right at all. The presentation is just weird. It's just awful. No dynamic range in the mid-range either. It's just poor quality, no detail, nothing good about it. Now, going into the treble, treble's okay. I won't say anything bad about the treble. Also, by the way, the mid-range has that same problem on all of them. All of them. Just all of them. And it's actually the worst on this. Overall, this did the worst in everything. This really shouldn't even be considered. This is poor at every single frequency as well. I would say it's almost as bad as the yellow core, but not quite. And the yellow core also gets rid of the soundstage, which we'll talk about in a second. So it's really these two that are the only options for listenability if you're forced to have these as your only IEM in your life. The black tips, treble, fine. Purple tips, the spin fits, also fine. It's not a big deal. Treble's fine, not great extension, but not sibilant either, so it's okay. Detail's not great, but it's fine. The 240 average treble, nothing notable to talk about. Now let's talk about soundstage. Soundstage is where I will bring these back in because these do decrease the soundstage a lot, and these do have a wide stage. These have a pretty good amount of stage actually, and these also have that wide stage. This has the widest stage, but. You can tell, I mean, they're open, semi-open, everything. That was probably their goal, to have a wide stage. And I'd say that at this price, I haven't heard a wider stage at this price point. So that is an accomplishment, I guess. But there's no point in a wide stage if you're not going to listen to it. It sounds too awful to use. So the stage is useless. Like, if they did this correctly, they could have had a very wide staging set of IEMs at this price point. I don't know what they did that was so terrible. In the creation of this, the build quality is great, but I don't know if it's the driver quality or just tuning or both. It's just awful. And so, also, imaging is It's fine. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad. Again, like more like $120 IEM sounding imaging. It's fine, but it's in a wide stage, which is nice. I just can't recommend this to anybody at all. So far, BQEYZ has done one good IEM out of the, I think, 4 that I've tried, which is not good at all. I hated the summer because of its poor dynamic range. I hated the winter because of its poor dynamic range, and now I also don't like this because of its poor dynamic range. I don't know what it is about BQEYZ and having thin sounding mid-range and bass and highs, everything. Just everything sounds thin, 0 note weight, and poor dynamic range. Why do they all have that problem except the Autumn? The Autumn was the only thing that this company has made correctly, from my experience. Anyway, That's about it. That's enough for the rant. If you're still here for some reason, even though I like said at the beginning of the video, this is terrible. But if you're still here, thank you. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.